So just behind me is Lough Neagh. Lough Neagh is the largest freshwater lake in the UK and Ireland. So it's particularly important in a regional and a global context. It's a very large freshwater body, and it's very important. It's designated for its significance to wildlife, particularly its water birds, invertebrates and fish communities. So during 2003, we had a massive, unprecedented, harmful algal bloom in Lough Neagh. The entire lake turned green. This has happened in the distant past, in the 1970s, 1980s. The loch got cleaned up very well during the 80s and 90s, but recently we've seen a bit of a regression in terms of water quality. So the impetus for this particular research was to look at what does the harmful algal bloom consist of, what bacteria are in the water, and what threat does it pose to wildlife and human beings. So what we've done is we've sampled both the water and the green algal mats, the slicks of algae that accumulate around the shores. And these are where people come into contact with the jetties, lochs, these kind of areas. And we wanted to know what bacteria are in there, because we know it's cyanobacteria that cause the blue-green algal blooms, but what else is in there? And so what we find is that about 1/3 of the DNA in the water belong to a cyanobacteria called Microcystis aeruginosa. So that's the green algae that you see in the water. But we also find interesting lots of other bacteria in there. So bacteria that belong in the activated sludge of wastewater human treatment works. And in the algal mats itself, this sludge, in fact, we find 13 species of bacteria that are human pathogens. So things like E. coli, salmonella, things that will make you ill. And again, these come from gastrointestinal tracts, feces. They are present in things like wild birds and wildfowl, but these are principally coming from places like agricultural runoff and human wastewater treatment works, getting into the water and polluting the loch. So what we propose in the paper are a range of nature-based solutions. So, we're not going to reduce our national cattle herd or the nutrient runoff very, very quickly. So what we need are solutions in place that are low-tech and low-cost, that are within the skill set of every farmer to reduce their ecological footprint. And there I'm thinking of things like making sure all of our waterways have vegetated corridors along rivers, creating a buffer so that slurry and sediment can't run off straight into rivers, but also on farms managing wastewater much better. So rerouting wastewater into what we call drainage swales. So these are places that might be planted with willow or reed beds, so that they absorb those nutrients before they get into the waterways and then reach the loch here. So these are simple solutions that will reduce the ecological footprint of Northern Ireland agriculture without impacting its productivity or profitability.